that usually works.
That was fantastic, Drake. I got a drop a fire emoji in the chat below to show Drake some love for absolutely sharing a pure. What was it, Dracarius right there? That was Game of Thrones fire right there. Grady Polson here, Family First Live America. Excited to have Drake Geramoni on with us, joining us from Dublin, California, from his secret lair where he protects families all over the country. And what's exciting about Drake is, he'll tell his story here in a second, but he's been with us for 90 days. 90 days. And you know what most people do in 90 days? They don't do much. Most people do in 90 days, they think about doing, thinking. And what happened with Drake is he got involved. He's plugged into our training calls. He plugged into live dials, and he sacrificed, everything in his probably personal life to put forth the direction that he needed to have to build the skills, which is skills, communicative skills to communicate with a client, a stranger on the phone who showed interest, but we still have to build trust, find their pain, address it with a product, and then put the protection in place. And in 90 days, Drake has protected over 100 families. And he's very humble. He's very kind, but I'm going to do my best to pry out all of his secrets. And if you're on here with us right now, excited for you to be on here, but you're in for a treat today. So I'll slow down and pass it over to you. How you doing today, Drake?
Like I said, Grady, I'm another day in paradise. Any day on the right side of the grass is a good day, and being able to help others makes it that much better. Thank you for the warm introduction. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here to possibly add value to others. Um, I've taken in thousands of videos that you've hosted with so many people you've interviewed, and it's resonated. And I've just kind of repeat, make my own, repeat, and test it. So practice is kind of everything. Um, I was introduced, luckily, to Family First by you. I've been fortunate enough to be in your email drip campaigns for probably the last 7 years or longer. And I was fortunate enough to be unfortunate and get in an accident at the big corporate bank where I worked, and put me out of commission for 90 days. And I said, Grady, I got to get licensed. Let's do this now. And you're like, yeah, 7 years ago, buddy. So I did it in 3 weeks, took my test, passed, was getting out of the banking industry, and yeah, went live July 1st, and kind of fell in love with a better way to service customers with unlimited inventory.
I love it. I love it. And so you, just for clarity, right? Your background is in banking. Will you expand more on that? Because there's a lot of people that watch these that have been with a company for a long period of time, or they've been in a sales gig for a long period of time, and you weren't making bad money. You were making good money. Maybe not like, Northern California, Ferrari money, but you're making good money by society standards. But you came to a turning point in your life where things have changed and changes. And I'll let you expand on it, but there's a lot of people that are looking for a sign, right? That sign or that thing in their life that where it gets painful just enough to finally turn the corner and go, I'm finally ready to take, my life in my own hands. Will you talk more about your past and, how what was the big fulcrum that pushed you over the edge?
So I have a very colorful past. I grew up in the Bay Area, California, and I literally, was a musician, recorded bands, went to concerts all over the country for free because of me being affiliated with a lot of people in the music industry. I didn't even drive a car till I got married, Grady. I mountain biked all over. My first job was at McDonald's. The second job was doing frozen yogurt. The third job was working for my father's corporate travel business in San Francisco. Then I got married. My wife had a 2-year-old. We had another one happily on the way. I was working for Clear Channel Entertainment, running concerts with 3,000 staff members at Shoreline Amphitheater and Concord Pavilion. Everyone from Kenny Chesney to Metallica to Slayer, uh, you know, to everything you can imagine. I worked with them. Um, and long story short, I got a good friend of mine came in at the time. I was running Blockbuster Videos and training managers and working at an AT&T, which then was a Pac-Bell wireless cell phone store, and running concerts at night and on the weekend. And a friend said, "Hey, I want to introduce you to the market manager of Wells Fargo. He'd love you." And I go, "Okay." And that's how I got reeled into banking, even though my degree is in engineering and audio. Um, every time I got offered a job in LA, the wife's like, "I'd rather be broke and live by my family with our family." And I'm like, "Okay." So I kind of got in this recycled gutless rat race, you would call it, where you make a decent living, but we live in the Bay Area. And at that point, I had my stepdaughter, I had my wife, we had a house we bought in 2000. We had a baby on the way, and shortly had another one. And then I got drafted by JP Morgan to get rid of the WAMU people in banking, because I tend to be a little more aggressive in coaching and sales. And then I said, I'm kind of beat up over this coaching and being responsible for others. So I went to business banking and was a relationship manager, of where I spent most of my career until I came here. Managing clients is and their books of business and helping them grow. And it was a lot more rewarding. Went to US Bank. Turns out the CEO is friends with the in-law, and one of his VPs was in my father-in-law's driveway one day when I pulled up, and I had a week later, I was working for US Bank, so I no longer commuted 2 hours each way, in a miserable, gutless rat race. Um, and I got to that pushing point where before the pandemic, I was home based because I was a VP, whatever that means, consultant in high net worth business clients. But it really means nothing when you live here because it's so expensive. Um, and you'd been in my ear for years, and I just was too afraid to let go of the constant paycheck that was gone the minute I got it, but it was there. And knowing that I could sell, when I got hurt, I said, "Okay, wait a minute. I can't work for 90 days. I'm going to go stir crazy. I have a lot of energy. I'm always busy. What am I going to do in this recliner back here besides get fat and watch Netflix and, drink wine?" Well, I quit drinking 4 years ago. So it was just get fat and watch Netflix. And instead, I watched your video and I just fell in love with it. And then it just became more and more addicting as I got more and more deep into years back of folks doing in home and you doing presentations, with a TV screen behind you that had a flannel, sheet over it. And you were, animated and passionate about helping people. And everybody you interviewed, there was a reason you interviewed them, was because they were passionate and had something they could share. So being here with you today really touches my heart. The accident is what forced me to do something better. And I wish I had done it sooner. I'm kicking myself, but in a positive way, it pushes me harder because there's no limit. And it's so rewarding to assist people, let the client know, "Oh, I'm so excited. Congratulations, you're approved. Is it okay if I call your daughter, Samantha? I'm going to give her my contact card since you said she's Apple as well. And on her worst day ever, she's going to know how to reach me." And, of course, we won't discuss anything about the policy. I'm just Drake the broker, Drake the insurance guy. And the families love it. And I'm getting referrals and I'm doing their daughters and their sister-in-laws. And it's just kind of selling smarter and deepening the relationship right out of the bat. Um, yeah, I can't imagine doing anything different ever again. We have unlimited inventory. I have the best support group in the world, and it's people from all over the country that have worked with you, um, that want to help people, and they're not afraid to tell you secrets, tips, or tricks. Nobody's selfish. Everybody's supportive and wants to get better. So the people that really work hard and continue have success, and that's kind of the big eye opener for me in the direction I'm going to continue to go in.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing so much. But the last part you touched on is one of the things where I have found that feeds my heart too in insurance is the willingness for people to share, right? Like, because I've been in other sales gigs before, and maybe you've had this experience in previous, you know, all the companies you've worked with. Is a lot of times you top producers, they keep everything close to the vest, right? It's such a scarcity mindset of, you know, I can't tell you, and you may be able to, you may encroach on this little secret sliver of a demographic that I've figured out that I can make a little bit of money on. And then you come here and you can just literally listen to people. They'll go, you want to listen to my next 20 presentations? I'll tell you, share every single word I say, because I'm doing so well. Like, I'm doing so well beyond my own personal wildest dreams that I thought I could accomplish. It's almost the business intrinsically makes people like, almost like, if I don't share some stuff, like the big dudes upstairs are going to strike me down, and it's going to keep me from making money. So it's almost, people share so willingly now because they're so grateful as well. And I find that because my own personal experience with past business I've been in, I was in different sales cultures where, you know, there'd be a group that'd be like rising and you'd be like, hey man, what are you doing? Oh, we just, you know, same thing, like just nothing, versus like, hey, we do this is how we say it. These are the objections. This is how we overcome this is and that's one of the things that I love that is so wonderful about FFL and at least our team culture, et cetera, is the live dial groups and just the willingness. I mean, there's if you called 100 top producers writing over 30, 40 a month, there may be 8 that just are kind of some selfish, you know, SOBs that just don't want to share. But 92 of them, so got an A average, would probably take 5-10 minutes of your phone call. And you say, so I remember when I was starting to be like, how are you selling so much of X? And they go, well, I say this. And I'm like, I've never thought about saying that. And why would I ever think about it? Because I never sold at their level. And that's really what's so great about this is almost anybody in our company is approachable and reachable, because they're doing so well that it's like we all want to give back, and which kind of then this self pruning and self growing tree keeps getting fed and watered. So I love that you shared that, but that's just something for people to know. We have a very, you know, giving culture here. So okay, so let's talk about transition though. You got in, got started with us, got contracted, Jade and China. You know, we got you started, we got you up and running. What were the first kind of few weeks like? You know, what was it? You know, did you come out? Did you sell everybody? You know, did you sell every lead you called? Like, you know, how was that sort of like self actualization period where you may have had some doubts set in and you go, I don't, this is harder than the brochure said, right? Like, how did that first couple weeks go, and then what helped you push through it?
So the support helped me. But there's no way I would have continued without your support and the support of so many people. I can't name them all. It would just take too long, but that open support. But I was banging my head against a wall because I've been in sales and customer service my whole life. And the volume, you know, running power dialing, triple dialing 600 people before noon and not getting anyone on the phone and getting frustrated with the silence, that I needed to start practicing in front of the mirror. I needed to just know that if I did get someone on the phone, I was going to give them my heart and everything, of every little bit of resource I had. Um, I spent a lot of time looking at all the shiny things that approach you, and it was a waste. All I needed to do was put my phone down or put my head down and call. That's it. I didn't need to know the carriers more than, you know, 3 simple things. It's whole life, it's term life, you know, there's medications, there's not. Um, I wasted too much time going through multiple carriers, overthinking it. What I've done in the last 3 weeks, the big game changer, Grady, really was, you know, late at night, I went into all the live dials, and observed and was a fly on the wall. And like Jamie would say, you know, if you're not on camera, you're not working. Well, I was on camera. I was just kind of new and, you know, not really saying much and just observing. Well, I got addicted to Living Hope dials. The OGs and O girls in that group, just opened their arms to me. I remember approaching Sean for the very first time. It was like probably 9:30, 10 o'clock his time, and he had just finished an appointment, and he's just a wizard. He's methodical the way he talks to his clients. And started asking him questions and thought he'd shut me down and not have any time. And instead, the guy spent like another hour telling me what he does and how he does it and why he likes to call during peak time. And he had reasons for everything he believes in. And it was so powerful that I decided the next day that that's where I'd hold myself accountable. And what I mean by that, this is my ninth week. And this last Sunday was the first day that I haven't been on 12, 14 hours every day. And that's because Bella had a bunch of 17-year-old girls over here, and I needed to help mom. That's the first day I missed. And you know what? I felt it. Like you got to be with your family, but my daughters are older and that's my youngest. So right now it's about me serving other families and helping people with all the tragedies I've heard. Getting in and doing it and being held accountable to the group, being that I'm not part of their group. I report directly to you. They all open up my arms to me. Every time I'm stuck, someone had the resource to answer or would go into a breakout room and provide knowledge that just blew my mind. Um, like I said, I'm on it. I get up at 3:30, I run on this bad boy, and I'm on there at 4:45. And there's a couple guys in Minneapolis that get on. Josh is on first every day, and he's last off every day. Lockhart. Um, and I pull him. I'm like, why are you? Do you get paid extra to run these things? He's all, man, this is the office.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the office. You want to talk? Don't call me. Let's go in a breakout room. Let's just get it done. This is our office. And I was used to a virtual world a little before the pandemic with the banking. So I was comfortable in Salesforce and Teams, but not video, and not really being held accountable and teaching others and learning from others. And you have 8,516 people in your Slack. I just recently told the people using Discord, are you not on Slack? And they're like, no. And I'm like, dude, you think our little group posting, every hour is kind of cool and sometimes not all day? Go over there. Cause then you put a fire in your basement, right? Like Andrew Taylor says, because there's people going and going and going. And it's like so motivational. It's addicting. And, I go in and I heart emoji everybody. I've been doing that for the 9 weeks that I've been locked out in this group on Slack and in Discord, because it's just like, hey, great job. I want to be like you and I want to be like the top producers. I want a brown and gold box on my shelf. How do I get there? Well, you just do it. You just have to commit. Um, the hours makes a difference because I'll break at like 11 California time when it's a little bit slower, unless you're calling retired folks, and then go right back in at 1. And it's literally like peak time somewhere. At 5 a.m., I'm on with Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And then, 6:37, I'm rolling into Texas, calling Louisiana. Um, there's no way not to structure your day to be more efficient and sell smarter and talk to people at the best possible time to reach them. So I learned that from you, obviously, and I learned it by not being afraid and finding a live dial room where people were there every single day and for ridiculous amounts of hours. The top people spend, 12 hours on there helping others. So that was really a game changer for me. Um, my strategies I've taken from you, because every time I talk to you, I learn stuff, word tracks. Um, Josh, Jamie, Sean, there's so many of them, Kasha, Quentin, that are in that group. And I just kind of reversed it a little bit where I really wanted to focus on one call closes. And if I make appointments, it's for the same day. I never book appointments 24 hours out because I wasn't efficient at getting appointments to show up in July or August. And with this process in place, kind of setting the table with the client when I get them on the phone, I'm almost done with the Americo application. And I've already kind of set the table with, I'm calling you, you had requested some information, to protect your family, to protect your home, whatever the marketing lead could
Sure.
have been. I have information to kind of make it important to them because I know why they requested the information. And then just go right into, for me to submit a request for you today, I'm going to need your social security number, an account number, and I'm going to need your driver's license. Is that going to be a problem right now? And a lot of times they say no. Very rarely they say it's a problem or they'll give me a little pushback and you can ask me about that. The second they go to, I say, great, I'm going to need you to grab that checkbook because I'm going to verify the routing number the insurance company has on the system. And then you can tell me the account number. And they go, okay, let me go get it. I say, grab a pen and a piece of paper too, because I'm going to give you some important information. Once I do that, credibility piece really, really helps get all the rebuttals out of the way. So I immediately send them my verified producer while they're getting the pen. And then when they go, okay, I got it, I'm sitting down, I go, great. Well, I actually just sent you the link. And just to save us both some time, if you could click on that. There's a funny picture of me. I'm not balding. I just shaved my head because I'm too lazy to go back to the barber since the pandemic. And, I simply roll down and say that, the Department of Insurance was nice enough to, let me have the honor of serving you. I work for you. I'm not a captive agent. I am your senior field underwriter and an insurance broker. Do you understand the difference? Most of the time they don't. I'll tell them, real quick elevator pitch, what the difference is. And, I work for you. It's in the best interest for me to provide you the best rate possible with the best term for your family and to keep you a customer for a year. Because if you're not going to stay a customer for a year, it works negatively against me and you're not going to go in my book of business. And that's not what I want. So a captive agent has typically one or two products and they really don't care which one you pick. They're probably on an hourly wage and they get paid regardless of what you sign up for. I'm not going to let you sign up with one of these carriers without me identifying it being the perfect one for you. The way I do that today is to simply just ask you a few questions and get this first approval done. So let me just verify, what was your social security number again? And they tell it to me and I go, check your phone because you got an authorization code right there. And that's the insurance company making sure that you're talking to me, your insurance broker. We're communicating because I don't submit requests without your consent. And they're usually pretty shocked that they have it and they give it back to me. And within the second page, I know from MIB, Medical Information Bureau, whether I have to pivot to another carrier like Aetna, American Amicable, AIG, if they have some serious medical issues, or we're going to continue with this one. And I wasn't doing the data entry while asking the questions. I wasn't assuming the sale. I was being sold on maybe later or let me ask my wife. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a little different. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I do set the table the way Jamie does it, except I kind of throw in there, grab a pen and paper. And what we're going to need today is your social security number and account number and your driver's license. I always get the account number first, and then I go for social, and then I go for driver's license because in some apps you don't even need it.
Sandwich it.
Yeah.
Or there's too much for me to even try to dig in here, but there's a couple of things I want to touch on. One, massive gratitude to Sean Simpson, Josh Lockhart, Kasha, that group for being so supportive, and Sean Simpson for taking that initial Hall of Fame producer, I think two-time Hall of Fame producer Sean Simpson for being a team player, for being part of why this company is so great. So thank you to Sean. Two is you mentioned 12 to 14 hours, and that to me excites me. That to me says this man is committed. He's driven. This is important to him. This is something that is a priority in his life. It's something he's had to have a conversation with his wife about, how he needs to go and make this happen. And that's the problem with most people. But that's the problem with society, right? It's how little can I do and how much can I get? Versus winners go, I'm going to work as much as possible and I still don't think it's enough. And that's what's great about you. And you to say you took us, I mean, it's very reminiscent to my experiences. To anyone who's achieved any level of success, they've paved the same path that you're paving, right? You're laying smooth, buttery, soft asphalt right behind you right now as you continue to progress on this journey. And it's only because how hard you're working. And that's the thing that, if there's an agent on here who's not achieving level of success, they're not working enough, right? And you may go, well, I am. Well, are you working 12 to 14 hours, 6, 7 days a week, dialing the phone, texting clients, following up, sending emails, doing follow-ups, asking for referrals, following up with referrals, following up with referrals, following up with referrals, right? It's professional persistence. Professional persistence says, I'm going to keep following up until they tell me to pee off you blankety blank. I don't want to buy insurance on me. Okay, I'm just doing my job. Your mom gave me your number, said you just had a baby, and I wanted to follow up and make sure you got that protection put in place. She's all set for you. Are you set for your family? Right? Our job is to push. And if we don't push, then that household will probably never get insurance. So they'll have a policy through their work. And then in the near future, they'll quit that job or get a new one where maybe they don't have an insurance policy that's 5 times annual wages, and then they don't have anything that they don't own because they don't own from a private company. And so to hear you talk about pushing yourself and putting in the hours and the time is the reason why that. Will you share what you've submitted the past 2 weeks?
Uh,
Just ballpark.
25,585. Last week and the week before was 24,872.
I got goosebumps. Like, that's why, guys, because for the first 7 weeks, he ate crap. He ate garbage, and he took it on the chin like a man and got back in that chair and dialed the phone with his friends. And you could say, well, I don't want to work that hard. Well, how's it feel being broke? Right. I mean, and I don't mean to be so glib and so like, tough, social media meme, but at the same time, there's people that make it happen. There's people that make excuses, and they're not the same people. And in life, you have to change everything if you want everything to change. And to hear you progress through this journey and to come from banking for 2.5 decades and then to jump in here, there's a lot of people that I meet in this line of work that I've had success. I've done it, I've made it happen. And like, they come in here and they go, my past success should equal my future success. Well, it shouldn't, because they're completely different industries. It can help, right? Your discipline of work ethic, getting up at 3:30, working out 8 miles a day, being on the phones by 5. That came from you, from either from past life or books or mentors, and all those things are helping. But once you get to this table, insurance, FFL, it's a whole new place setting. It's a whole new steak you got to cut in, and we don't have spoons here. We got really sharp knives, but you got to get a skill set to be able to wield that knife, or you're going to cut yourself. I don't know, I'm going with that, but dude, to hear that makes me just like, because I want everyone to hear that, because is it hard? Yes. Is it impossible? Not at all. It's just discipline and the decision that I'm going to learn the right word tracks, and especially I'm going to learn the wrong word tracks to not use anymore. And now you sit at a place where you're pushing for one call closes. Hey, I'm at the grocery store. Got it. I'm at the office. Perfect. You answered the phone. It only takes a few minutes to kind of go through this. Which aisle are you in? Oh, I'm picking grapes right now. Perfect. Well, when you get to the pizza aisle, we should have some more information figured out, right? Like, okay, and then, or you're pushing, like you said, for the next morning to do an appointment follow-up morning. So, that was amazing. You're all the different word tracks. I would love if you would solidify, though. I want to hear like your specific first like 2 minutes, right? Just like you said, you can say with your eyes, like you went through and you gave us a lot of good, snapshot points, but I want to hear. So for the new Brucers there to go, I can't get them to stay on the phone. I can't get them to answer the phone, or when I get them to answer the phone, I don't know what to say. Well, what you're going to get right now is what Drake says. And so I want you to do that. Then maybe any other little tidbits in the middle. And then I want to hear your close, how you completely solidify that appointment that you are Drake, their broker. So so let's start with the open. What do you say at the very beginning? We're not going to do it because I just end up screwing it up, but I want you to, what you say, and just don't rush through it and I want people to pull this away from today.
Sure. Ring, ring. Ring,
I'm
ring.
not going to role play because I'm going to screw it up. I want you to just to do it.
Hello, Grady. This is Drake. I was just getting back to you regarding the request you just submitted online, looking to protect, it looks like, your spouse or significant other. Is that correct? Fantastic. Is your birthday still June 16th, 1973? Fantastic. So I'm going to just take about maybe 5 minutes of your time today. I'm going to need you to grab a pen and a piece of paper. Can you do that? Oh, I can't. I'm not available to do that right now. Okay, perfect. Do you have a notepad on your phone? Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? While you were thinking about that, I just texted you the information that the state requires me to give to you. Can you pull that up real quick? Yeah, I see it. Perfect. So the Department of Insurance has trusted me, your insurance broker and field underwriter, to shop for you. I'm not a captive agent. Okay. What that means is I work for you. So scroll down and take a look. You see those 15 different states? Yeah. So each one of those did a background check, fingerprints, a notary, and an FBI check on me. And then scroll down a little further, you're going to see about 30 companies you're probably familiar with, such as Transamerica, AIG, Aetna. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So those 30 did too. So I had my background check, fingerprinted, and a live scan done 45 times to be the guy that's going to shop for you. Again, I work for you. So I just have a couple things I'm going to need from you today in order for me to find out which of these great carriers, they're all A-rated companies, is going to approve you for the best rate, the best term, and the most benefits for your family. What that's going to mean is I need your social security number, I need your account number, and I need your driver's license. Is that going to be a problem right now? Most of them say no. So I got the social security number. And Grady, you don't want to give me your account number. I had fraud last year. You know what, Grady? I completely understand. I've been in financial services 25 years and I've done nothing but protect business owners and individuals from fraud. I had fraud last September and it took me 3 months to fix. I get it. I'm just going to rewind a little bit to the verified producer information and try to understand why you don't trust me with your information, putting it directly into the insurance carrier's server to actually immediately send you an authorization code. The first 15 states verified that I'm an okay person, and then those 30 companies did as well. So let me remind you that was fingerprints, notary, live scan, and background checks. So I ask again, what is your account number? I usually get it. Same thing with the social. Don't want to give you my social. I had fraud. So credibility piece comes right back into play. So we just reviewed that the Department of Insurance, where I live in California, which is tough, verified and says I'm okay to get your secure information and put it into their server of any of those 30 companies. So again, those 15 states all trust me, checked my background, and then those companies all gave me writing agent numbers to work on behalf of you. So go ahead, tell me, what was your social security number? Perfect. So if you could look at your phone right now, there's a 6-digit authorization code. If you could give that back to me, that'll unfreeze my screen because I'm currently in the company's server and I can't do anything until you give that back to me. Because here, as an insurance broker, we don't submit stuff without acknowledgement or consent. So right now, you're just simply giving consent because you and I are having a conversation and you'd like to see if you're approved today. Oh, here's the code. Perfect. Give me just another second. I'm just going to put in your driver's license and going to ask you a couple medical questions. Really need to talk to my wife first. Oh, I understand. I've been married 26 years now, 3 daughters. And isn't it flattering that you're going to go to her tonight and you're going to say, "Hey, honey, I'm thinking of getting this $500,000 accidental, in case something happens to me, $500,000. And then I'm thinking about doing this Americo CBO and it's 450,000. So, that's almost $1 million in coverage." And then you're going to come back to me tomorrow and you're going to be declined and I can't get you approved. And then you're going to have to go back to your wife and have that conversation after you kind of already told her the good news, but we don't have an approval yet. So my experience being married 26 years now is let's get the approval right now so you can have a pleasant conversation with her, unless that is that you can't make that decision for yourself or you don't control the finances or we need to get her on the phone right now. Does that sound like that would make more sense? Which is going to be a better conversation for you to have? Do you like to gamble? Because I don't. If you want to talk to her first, chances of getting me back to actually submit it for you are going to be slim to none because I have 18 to 25 people I'm helping tomorrow. So squeezing you in again is going to be almost impossible. That usually works.
That was fantastic, Drake. I got a drop a fire emoji in the chat below to show Drake some love for actually sharing a pure. What was it, Dracarius right there? That was Game of Thrones fire right there. Um, but okay, so your dryness and annoyance is intimidating to the degree of like how low you care, but you also say fantastic, which I love that you were like, okay, all right, fantastic. Like, but you're completely in control the entire time you're going through it. Then to talk about that you have been background checked by 15 different states and 30 different companies. Talk about credibility building. Credibility building. So as they're going through, when you ask them to go get a pen handy, this is brilliant, Drake. So they ask me to go get a pen, and I don't have a pen. All right, perfect. Well, get a notepad. And as they're getting a notepad, you're immediately texting. So it's from Zippo, your verified producer website. So Drake uses Zippo, phenomenal software. We love Zippo, Zippo.io, 5-day free trial. Go check them out. Verified producer page, bunch of backgrounds, texting, tracking, all kinds of great stuff. But they give you a verified producer page, which makes you look like a professional, puts all your licenses in it. You text that to them, they open it. And now they're like, oh, this guy is, you're just notching up the trust. And then they go and now you've got you got the verified producer page, the states, the companies. There's so much trust that's built. And is this 30 seconds, 2 minutes? This is as fast as you just did it, right? This is in the first minute.
Correct.
The rebuttal to the wife was amazing, right? That was so good because I need to talk to my wife. Well, don't you want? I don't like gambling. I want to go? Don't you want to go to her with some good news versus some unknowns? That makes a lot of sense, actually. Let's go. Okay, let's get. Here's the consent. I've been selling this stuff a while, man, and that was some fun stuff to hear, Drake. So, great job. Anything else you do that kind of really builds additional trust throughout the app or throughout the bank, when you're telling price, how do you tell price?
I like to go with this is the Lamborghini of policies.
Okay.
So don't fall out of your chair because I almost did when I pulled this one up based on uh, your age and mine. So I like to always start with the most expensive and then work into the middle. And I kind of never tell them the lowest
Okay.
unless they're on a fixed income because there's no reason to, because
Great.
they're selling you on, I'm probably going to cancel it. I don't need it. If they can't afford it and it's not going to work for their budget, I don't want to submit it anyways because then it's a chargeback.
Right.
So you have to be able to read people and identify the fact that they actually do need it. They can't afford it. They do have a good job. They've got the mortgage they're protecting, equity. They have other policies, group plans like a rental car. Um, a big part of doing it with Americo is that you're leading with something where we get so much information so fast to provide better news. So even if MIB flags it, I'm just going to pivot to our sister company, Aetna. Let's say it was for a whole life product. So it's an easy one. If it was term, I'm going to pivot to our sister company, American Amicable. And they don't know what's happening. They're just listening and trusting because they've already opened up and I have their information. And I'm like, now you're going to receive an email. You should see it right now. I just need you to go ahead and open this box, then close it, then acknowledge it, and we're going to see what we can do with this. And it looks like this is actually going to be a little less expensive than the last one. So if they get declined, I'm going to make it like a positive thing. And on the pricing, Sean did a beautiful one earlier. It was like $900 a month. And he got him to agree to the 450 term. Um, he's methodical with the way he speaks. I can't go on that long. Like I'm anxious to do another one. I want to help another family and I want to help their family and I'm going to get permission to contact their beneficiaries. Is it okay if I send my Apple contact card and my verified producer to your daughter who's on the policy? Oh yeah, actually she just got married and I know they don't have good insurance. Yeah. A lot of the ones I did in the last 3 weeks were those scenarios. It was sister-in-laws, daughters that got married. I have one that I'm giving Amazon gift cards in Louisiana because she keeps sending me people from, the senior community, and she just loves it. So adding that value back and kind of just doing it very quickly. Of course, you have to go through the medical questions, but if you don't actually submit it and get the acknowledgement right off the bat, there's nowhere to go. So I'm a little different. I do the medical inventory, but I do it after I have the MIB pull because you have to. You got to read through all the stuff. That's the law. But I'm not going to ask all that first if they're not going to give me their account number. There's no point. So I'm just thinking which carrier might help you if you decide to give me the account number. So I kind of go a little backwards and go right after account number with credibility, right into social, like it's no big deal, and driver's license just because I'll probably need it later, depending on which carrier we use. But a lot of times I don't even need driver's license, but I just keep
Giving them
three.
another task to do anyway, which is part of getting them on board. You could ask them the color of their house. You could ask them, what are you wearing, Velcro or slip-on shoes? You know, I mean, just
Right.
I don't know why they ask. Velcro have high slip rates, so the insurance carriers, but the slip. I mean, the more they're going to be on board with giving you information, the more they're on board with the project that we're working on together.
Yeah.
So as far as the money goes, though, you say Lamborghini. How are you picking it? Like, is it you ask them their income? How do you ask their income? And then what is you basing on a percent of their income, a percent of free cash flow, or is it always benefit based and you want them to figure it out how to afford it?
No, it's a mix. So I definitely benefit based. And then I'm looking at if they're paying group plans and they're paying a term convertible policy that's going to expire in a year that they could get rid of. So I'm doing a little financial advising by saying, this is probably not the best thing for you to keep because when that term's up in 5 years, you know how expensive it's going to be. So we could get rid of that one once this one's in place, but of course we can't do that until this one's in place. You get your folder, and then I'm going to recommend you take that out. So I do look at their budget and what they have left, and typically, a trick in banking is, what bank do you use? When they give you the account number, they go, "Oh, Navy Federal Credit Union." I go, "Okay, great." And then what about Wells Fargo? "Oh yeah, I have Wells Fargo too." And then you go, "Oh, okay." And then, what about Chase? "Oh, yeah, I have a Chase savings too." And then what we found out in banking is a they think a credit union's different than the big 5 bank, and they think Charles Schwab or Goldman Sachs is different, than a big 5 bank, and it's all just money that's in a financial institution. So if you ask creatively about their 401ks just by asking, "Where is the money?" and they tell you the account number. "Oh, that's great. I love Navy Federal. I do them all the time. Here's the routing number that pops up on the server." Because Google routing number, the state I'm already on the phone with is already there. I just need to put in what bank to pull it to be smooth to transition it. And then you can find where the rest of the money is. So almost every person I talk to has more money than they're going to tell you.
Of course,
So
you're
if I
screening.
can, yeah. So if I really add a lot of value on the benefits and what they currently have, very rarely do they go much below the Lamborghini of policies.
I love it. Okay, so how do we wrap it up? How do we button it up at the end? Last 3 minutes. What are you saying, doing, follow up, post call? How are you tying these policies in a big, pretty red bow on the front of the Lexus in the snowy covered driveway? Right. We've seen
Yeah,
that.
so I'm handwriting cards still because 'cause I'm
Right.
old school and I'm not using, a CRM yet for all those types of things. So that's after, so that's post the conversation with the client, but with the client, I just reiterate that, you see my address, I've lived in that house since 2000, I'm not going anywhere. My phone number I called you from, I've had since 1998. An easy way to remember it is 92587 music if you want, but the contact card that I sent you is never going to change. I'm not a big fan of calling you from a local computerized number. This is my number. I've got 36,000 people on my cloud in my phone book. And the reason for that is because it's a service business and it's referral based. And that's why I want to call your beneficiaries since they're adults, not minors, obviously, um, and give them my contact information. So on their worst day ever, they have an additional person to contact if they're panicking about the bank, the death certificate, any of those types of things. I have a lot of resources in financial services to help you. Um, it's just letting them know I'm not going anywhere. I'm not working hourly for, you know, another agency and looking for another job actively. This is what I'm going to do. After 25 years of being in financial services, I've never found so much passion in helping people with life insurance. And I've never heard so many tragedies of widows calling because of accidental deaths of family members and children, and them now wanting to get educated and get protected because they don't want to go through that again. So it's very rewarding, just kind of, the credibility piece is there, but the trust, it's like this number had my name on it. It says California. It's never going to go anywhere. It'll always be the same. And I don't plan on making any changes. Um, I always tell them, I'm going to reach out to you. If it's approved on the spot, I always make it sound like that's very rare. And congratulations, this is so exciting. Um, if it's not approved on the spot, I'm going to reach out to them, later that day or the next morning and give them additional, the good news. Um, but I always ask for the beneficiaries if it's okay for me to reach out to them and let them know that we're working together. Won't discuss any of your private information, but just that we're working together and I'm your insurance guy going forward.
Smart.
And they always give it to me. I mean, I have the beneficiary information anyways, but just getting the permission puts their wall down because I asked. I'm not a vulture going after their family trying to sell them stuff. I'm offering to let them know that they could reach me on the worst day ever. And then they offer, oh, can you review my policy? My husband doesn't have one.
Free leads.
Free leads.
Free leads. Best price leads there are. It's the free ones.
Yes.
I love it, Drake. So, okay, you send in thank you cards and you're just showing genuine good client care. There's so much value to even those quick phone calls. Hey, Jonathan just met with your Aunt Betty. I just took care of her with an insurance policy. I'm her broker. She mentioned you. She put you down as a beneficiary. I just need a couple of minutes to talk on the phone. Jonathan texts Aunt Betty, who's Drake? Oh, he's the broker. Like you're just hooking things in where they're committing, right? I've got so many young agents that will sell a policy and never call them, never follow up with the beneficiary, never send a thank you card, send a text with their own, like sometimes with a picture, but like there's levels of client care when you're in a home and you're sitting there in their house and use their restroom and they offer you a bottle of water and sometimes a pie or tea, and then you shake their hand and hug them on the way out and you leave them with tactical brochures that can't be, you can't do it to that level virtually. It just doesn't exist. But when you can leave physical tactile takeaways or mail them with thank you cards, it just shows an additional level of professionalism. It also reminds them a week, oh yeah, that policy could be coming out, or that's what that bill was. That guy was great. I mean, you're just elevating yourself. You guys are business professionals. This is your business that you own, that you reap all the spoils of, and you take all this. No, you reap all the splendor and take all the spoils. If you don't treat it like a business, and I'd love to hear the level at which care you're giving. But as we round out, what are your goals? What's your end of the year goal? What are your big goals here with us as you progress, as we put it on camera and share it with thousands of people?
Uh, you know my goals. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to run as fast as I can for a year and see what I can achieve. I've already had people approach me. Um, I'm not in a huge hurry to recruit the wrong people. It's got to be someone that's actually like the people I've met that are still doing this and have been doing it a long time. So I would like to see. I have a lot of fun coaching people that really need help, that really want to win. And we do, I call them ring sessions, because I just go ring, and then we do a thing. And then if they suck, I just go ring again and cut them off because I hung up and they have to start all over with a new person. So it's something I created, just ring. I did it at Wells. I did it at JP Morgan. They used to have to stand and do it on speakerphone, and then my bankers couldn't sit till they got an appointment. So I've kind of implemented the same thing. I like coaching people to be successful. If I can add any value in any way with, my old sales skills and just caring about people, it's powerful, it's rewarding. It reminds me of the pandemic, helping so many businesses that were failing. Here, we've got so many people of all ages and all backgrounds and all different life struggles. We all have them, that want to win. And the people that have reached out to me and asked for help, I'll give them everything and anything they ask. I'll tell them as much as I can. And I've got people that are calling me every other day. They're like, "Can I practice with you?" I'm like, "Just ring, go." It's like, absolutely go, because I can't ever get worse. So let's just get better. So, you know, I just want to get better. Monetary numbers, I always make jokes. When Sean says something about me doing something smooth, I say, "Hey, I don't have a brown and gold box on my shelf yet behind me, Sean." Or to Josh. Um, that's the goal, is to get there, but I'd like to project those types of families every quarter, right? That's where I see myself. If I can commit 6 days a week, at least right now, I'll commit 7. But next year, if I commit the same amount of hours for the whole year, I think that I should be able to achieve Hall of Fame helping families quarterly.
I
That's where I see myself going in 2024 at the end into 2025. So Hall of Fame is just a target, right? You got to shoot, for the stars and land on the moon. Um, I have very high expectations of volume because we have unlimited inventory and it's recession proof. And the resources you provide, I'm so thankful. Uh, I mean, I don't think I've ever called you and you've not answered in 30 seconds or been like, call you in 10, and that goes for everybody. Josh Lockhart is the one I bugged the most. So you owe him a gift card, Grady. Um, all the rest of them are like, "Hey, come over to my group. You have a good upline." I'm like, "I'll never leave anybody's group. I'm just gonna bug you because Scotty, you like this IUL stuff, and I'm horrible at it." And Josh is like the matrix of every rebuttal on the planet, uh, and just knows the answers to everything and shows you how to get there. So he dumbs it down for me because I'm from a different industry and I need that. Um, but the kindness with this group, everybody, all the different states, it's just been amazing. So I hope to give back um, as much as I can, but Hall of Fame to me should be a quarterly goal, and that would make me happy. And bringing people on who want to win as much as I do, and build a small team that are actually good. And if they want to grow and build teams, I support everybody's goals. Absolutely.
I love it, Drake. Fantastic. I quarterly Hall of Fame. That would earn you a rhinestone jacket, I think, of some sort at convention. That we'll talk to Sean about that. And also, Josh is only so good because he has Michelle. So just
The
but
boss.
I love Jet Group. I love that you've made friends with them too. They're about one of my favorite people in the company, and So Drake, this was exceptional. I didn't expect anything less, but to see what you've done, what you're doing, and now to hear your goals, and how hard you work, right? That's the decision, guys. We can choose to take action, or we can choose to not, and it's our choice, and that's the decision we each live with. And but we got, not to get all sentimental or emotional or morbid, but we've got one shot at this deal, and why not make it the absolute best we can? We deal in death, as sadly as that is. It's a component of our business, but it's also a component that we get to choose how we live our life based on how we treat each day. So Drake, beyond grateful for you and excited for your future, and excited for what you're creating. So everybody drop a 400 in the chat below for Drake's 400 400 by 4 goals that he's got. That'd be 1 point. That would be fantastic, man. Good. Love it. So without further ado, Drake, thank you. Grateful for you. We will see you on the next call, and appreciate you to the moon, man. Talk more soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.